Anne from Game Like a Mother. I specialize in games that play in 20 minutes or less, and lately I've been talking a bit about the cost of board games. It's quite easy for it to all add up before you know it, but that said, I think you can go out and get a really cheap game and then never play it, and then you have wasted money. And conversely, you can go out and get Everdell and all of its expansions, but then just play it a bunch. And clearly that was absolutely worth the money. So it's not as much the cost of the game necessarily, but getting good bang for your buck that really matters in the end. So I have a few games here that are both affordable, but also great bang for your buck because they are the type of games that you will want to play a bunch. First up, we have Qwixx. I feel like Qwixx has become a bit of a family staple at this point. It's one that a lot of people know about and really enjoy, and it's great. It's easy to find this one for under $10, and it's a very simple roll and write game in which you are rolling dice and getting to mark spots along 4 different lines of color that correspond with the dice, and you're trying to get the most points by the end of the game. And what's great about this is kids can play it, people who don't play a lot of board games can play it, but there's enough going on there that you have interesting decisions to make. So even if you play a lot of games, it's not like you're just sitting there playing a nothing dice game where you don't get to do anything. It's good. You have some good decisions to make. I also really like that there's something going on every turn for everybody. The 2 white dice that are rolled, everyone gets to choose if they want to use those each turn. So it's not one where people get bored when it isn't their turn. There's something going on. It keeps everybody engaged. And this is so small, portable, easy to throw in a bag and bring somewhere and be confident that people will play with you because it just has such a universal appeal. My main complaint about this is the paper scorecards that you just go through so quickly, but we laminated ours. Easy to do, and then you just can play as much as you like. Next up, we have Bandido, which is a lovely cooperative card game in which you are working together to try to stop Bandido from escaping from his jail cell. He's tunneling out, and you're playing out cards that are like the tunnels going on, and you're trying to have them all end in dead ends, which is trickier than you think, and there's a bit of an art to playing it out so that everything fits together right. It's kind of like a puzzle where you're uncovering the puzzle pieces and you don't exactly know what's coming, and so you're putting it out as you go and trying to work together to make it all closed off. And it's just so simple. There's basically no rules to explain, but there's a bit of strategy to it, and it's very fun to play, and you do not win every time. There's like a medium success rate, but it's so quick. Even if you lose, you can just, okay, well, Bandito got out that time. Let's set it up again and play again. If you like there to be a little bit more going on, there is Bandida, in which they added a few more rules and there's different things you can do with the cards. I prefer the elegant simplicity of Bandido, but I know my older son really likes Bandida, so pick what works for you, but they're both about $15 or less, and there, again, it's super tiny. You can toss it in a bag and take it anywhere with you, which is awesome. And then finally, I have Ohanami, which means flower watching in Japanese, and it's this great little card game from Pandasaurus in which you are trying to score the most points with your Japanese gardens that you are creating. And it's a very simple in its premise, drafting game. Everybody has a hand of cards, and then you just pick 2 cards each time and pass the cards around. It kind of, to me, feels a little bit like Sushi Go, but elevated a bit, perhaps, with a little bit more going on, but that's the general feel of the type of gameplay. And you have to play your cards in 3 different rows, and the trick is the cards have to be in consecutive order. So you're playing in the top and the bottom of the piles, and if you have a card with the middle number, you can't stick it in the middle. and different colors of cards score each round. So there's a nice mix of strategy of what you're getting, how you're placing it down, where you get points now, but you aren't making it so you can't play cards in the future. There's a little bit of player interaction, especially at the end of a round, where you might be able to stick somebody with some cards they can't play. But it's pretty mellow, and so it seems like there's enough interaction that it matters what you're doing, but not enough that someone who doesn't like it when people do mean things to them are going to get really upset when playing this game. And it's just one of those ones that, again, it's about $15, and we have played this one so much. It's one that I have a ladies board game group that meets once a month, and I'm pretty sure if I brought this every month and we played this and a few other games, everyone would be really happy. It's one that we take on trips because it's a nice little card game, and we have hundreds of board games in our collection, and the three I listed today, we've definitely gotten amazing bang for our buck. We have played them a bunch, even with a bunch of other options, because they're the types that you reach for when you have a few minutes and need a good game, and so these are spot on for that. Great bang for your buck. Thank you so much for having me on today. You can check out my YouTube channel and website if you want to see more of my content. I really appreciate being on, and back to the folks in the studio.